Yo, welcome to All Things Covered with Patrick Peterson and Bryant McFadden, part of the CBS Sports Podcast Network. The name says it all. If you like what you hear, make sure you leave a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. You can also watch us on YouTube. Just visit youtube.com/all things covered. So make sure you subscribe and turn on your alerts so you can get the show right away. Pat P, I know we got another great episode, but what are we going to cover on this show?
Hey, yo, Matt, we got plenty to cover. And we also had plenty of Seminoles on our episode. We have talked to, I think, one Gator in the recent episode.
No question.
We never talked to anybody from the U. One of my favorite schools growing up. But we got our guy Gregory Russo on the show today. Outstanding NFL prospect. As our NFL series continue, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Doom, 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 doom. Y'all know what time it is. First quarter of the show. This is where we chop everything up. Over the last few weeks, we've been taking you inside the draft prospects of some of the top prospects that will be available in this year's NFL draft. And later in the show, make sure you guys stay tuned. You don't want to miss this great conversation we will have with Greg Russo, talking about some of the teams he's feeling excited about that potentially could draft him. It could be your favorite team, or it could be a team that you hate. But regardless, you definitely want to hear what he has to say about where he could potentially go in this year's draft. We believe he will be a first rounder. He also believes that as well. So make sure you stay tuned. But on this episode of Chopping It Up, we want to focus on pre-draft workouts. Detail the interview process, some of the things that you had to do to get your body ready, some of the things you had to do to get your mind ready, all of that. It goes into the entire bowl when you're trying to put together a nice dish. So, Pat P, your dish was unbelievable because you went extremely high. But your pre-draft process, when you talk about the interview process, we've been hearing some of the stories from former prospects, the weird questions, the unexpected questions. For you, when you were getting ready for the draft, did you encounter any weird questions?
Man, I encountered a ton of weird questions.
Really?
The weirdest question of them all was from the Cincinnati Bengals. And I have I won't necessarily say a great relationship with Coach Marvin Lewis, but I run into him every now and then on the golf course. Mm-hmm. And they asked me, what is the difference between a pencil and a pen?
Yeah. Pencil has lead, pen has ink.
Exactly. I thought that was the most bizarre question I've ever been asked to answer before. I was like, "What? Are you serious right now?"
But you can erase a pencil. You can like what?
I was like, how much further you want me to elaborate? You like you said, you can't erase a pencil. A pen is ink. A pencil is lead. I mean. What else more do you want me to say? A pen is more. I mean, you can erase a pen, but it's more permanent. Than a pencil. I mean, I didn't know how much more they wanted me to elaborate on what's the difference between a pencil and a pen. But
that makes sense. That's Cincinnati. Oh, that's Cincinnati for you. It makes sense. It makes sense. Pat B, I know you said before that the Cardinals, you never spoke to the Cardinals instantly, right? Yep. When you talk about the reoccurring conversations with one organization. So I would say it's safe to say you didn't expect to get drafted to AZ. But what team did you think you were going to go to?
I thought I was going to Houston. I thought I was going to Houston or who was the second? Denver. So I thought I was going to Houston and Denver because I had the most interactions with them.
Mm-hmm. And Denver had the number 2 pick, yes. And Houston they were outside the top 10 because they took JJ. Yeah. I mean, TJ. They took TJ.
No.
Houston were 11.
No, they took JJ Watt.
JJ, yeah, my bad. They took JJ, not TJ.
I can't remember the GM name at the time, but he was a brother. He was like,
I think it's Rick. Was it Rick Smith?
Yeah, it was Rick. So Rick was like, man, we really love we love everything that you do. I think they had just drafted Kareem Jackson the year before. They wanted him to be the nickel. They had Jonathan Joseph already. They wanted to add me. I can't even think of the safeties they had. Shucks. But they had he ended up going to Denver. I can't think of his name right now.
safety that went to Denver from Houston.
Yeah. I can't think of his name right now, but he was with I think right before Vance Joseph got there, because Vance got there in like 2013, if I'm not mistaken. But I thought I was going to those two teams. But the only interaction I had with Arizona was with your former teammate, Deshae Townsend, who was end up being my corners coach.
Yep.
And that was the only interaction that I had with them, and that was in the what they call like the I can't remember what they call it. It's like, almost like a car wash, where you go into this big room and all 32 teams are there and their representatives, and you kind of just walk around and they kind of pick you, if they want to talk to you or whatever. So that was the only interaction. I didn't have no draft meeting with them. I didn't have no work or no private workout with them. Oh, San Fran. I thought San Fran was going to get me too, because I had 2 private workouts with San Fran at the time. I had no private workouts with them. I didn't even know Arizona area code. That's how shocked I was when they called me. I was like, 602?
Yeah, you know who that was. You probably thought it was Mississippi or something like that.
And you was at the table with me. I'm like, 602? Who the heck is that? And it was Coach Ken Wisenhunt, man.
Wisenhunt.
Yeah, right. That's why I started my career, man.
And San Francisco, they took Aldon Smith at number 7.
Yep.
So Denver took Vaughn 2. San Fran took Aldon 7.
And
Houston, JJ at 11.
Yep.
Wow. I wonder how how the fan bases for those teams here, knowing that, their team actually was high on you.
Yeah, and Cincinnati was in there too. But and that's honestly why I made that decision to go to Minnesota, because Zim was the DC at the time.
At Cincinnati.
They had Leon Hall, and I can't think of the other corners that they had there at the time.
Leon
Pac-Man
Hall.
Jones may have been there right when I think they may have drafted him. Picked him up after I got drafted, because we played against them.
Because Jonathan Joseph was gone already.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why they was high on me as well. And man, Zim, just being able to pick his brain. Yeah, being able to pick his brain, obviously seeing his resume, just being able to talk to him and just seeing his mentality, how he like to play football, how he like to attack offenses on Sundays. I was like, yeah, this could fit right into my wheelhouse. And he loved playing man to man. He loved being aggressive. Like, that's what I want to be a part of. And I thought I had a shot in Cincinnati as well, but they ended up taking AJ Green.
That's funny. That played a big part in your free agent decision. Those conversations you had with Zim back then that you remembered.
Like man, you want to put yourself in the best situation possible. You want to put yourself in a situation where you think you can thrive. And I feel like, being in this system, having the dogs that they have on the front 7, having the defensive mind that Zim has, and also the resume that he has, I was like, this is like a match made in heaven. The guys that he was able to, to be able to further their career, the guys he was able to help, brighten their career, like the Xavier Rose, et cetera. I was like, yeah, this might be the perfect match for me. If it wasn't Tampa, I wanted to go somewhere where, I knew the system. I knew that they will do something tailored to my game that I'm good at, so that's why I feel like Minnesota was the perfect match for me.
Yeah. I know, talking about the questions, crazy question, I had Chicago. Chicago asked, which food do I like better? Microwave food that comes out of microwave, or food that's cooked? Oven. And I'm like, what frick? Like, what you mean? What is that? That doesn't mean microwavable. Like,
what you tell them, man? I hope you didn't tell them microwave.
I mean, I say the only thing I really like, if I had to choose either or, coming out of the microwave or coming off a stove, is the cup of noodles. Where you put the water in. Them things taste real. Them Roman noodles. When you put them in that cup, you got to make sure you don't put too much water, because it's gonna overflow in the microwave. You got to clean the microwave.
So now you feel like a chef now. So you know how the right amount of water.
You can't hit the line. You got to go a little bit below the line.
They tell you where to put the water at, Matt.
Man, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. I've had many experiences when I went at the line and the water overflows in the microwave. But yeah, Chicago asked me that question, like which food you prefer, microwavable food or food out of the stove oven?
Hey man, I like my food off the stove, man. It's fresher.
I thought it was a trick question. I said, are we talking as an adult or are we talking as a child? Like, where we going? Like,
that's a valid comeback though, because you're right. Because as a child, you can pop that thing in the oven at any time. I don't give a dang on what it is. Man, but when you get older, you're like, man, that's a little tough, man. I need that thing a little bit more moist, man. I need to throw that thing in the oven on top of the stove.
No question. You're a child, man. You like anything out of the microwave because it happens fast. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait. It might not taste as good, but you don't care at that time. You're just trying to get on through.
Hey, as long as that belly got full.
No question. No question. I know you guys are ready. It's the second quarter of our show, and usually we jump right into Has Pat Heard. Don't worry, it's coming, but we're gonna make you wait. That's what I call a tease. Also, stay with us. We got Greg Russo joining us after halftime. Quality, entertaining, informative conversation. So make sure you stay tuned and stick with us for that. But right now, before we get to Has Pat Heard, we're gonna jump and talk about some other topics that has surfaced throughout the sporting world here, especially with the NFL. JC Tretter and the union, they're urging players to boycott in-person OTAs and mini camps. Pat P, they're trying to urge you guys to boycott any in-person OTAs and mini camps. So what that means is don't show up for anything until it's time to get to training camp. Because last year, remember everything happened virtually because they had to.
Now we had did we not have minicamp last year?
No, y'all didn't have minicamp last year. Everything was virtual.
I'm with that plan, man.
Oh, you with that plan?
No doubt about it.
Oh, so you all in?
Man, more time with the family. Because you think about it, man. The guys who just won the Super Bowl, they've been off football in February. Yep. We normally start back up April. That's 2.5 months off. That's no time for them to really be. Because at the end of the day, like Chris talked about, we're dads. You don't want to be no third string dad when you're a starter on the football field.
Yep.
So I think we need to have more time with our kids, with our family, with our loved ones, because the good players, they put so much time into it during the season to where, like my wife is great at it because, in the season, it's just all business. It's strictly football. Nothing else matters but me being in a position to be the best player that I can be. And so you telling me that I only can give my loved ones 3 months out of the off season for my full attention. I think, I feel like this year it was. I can't tell you the statistic on the injury, but I didn't see any no production drop off from anybody. I didn't see, although I think it's prominent for the young guys who getting drafted, of course. But for the guys who's been into the league or guys who's trying to make their way into the league or the rookies, I think those are the guys that should be able to, if possible, get the extra training or the in-person stuff. Because I just think that now with me being older and now with me having a family, now with me having kids, yes, I love my job, but at some point, I am a full-time dad. You know what I mean? So I want to be able to take my kids to school, not for 3.5 months, 2 months. I want to be able to enjoy my off season because the guys who really, truly love the game, when they're in the game, that's all that matters.
Yeah. I got a quote from your former coach. Thoughts from February. If we lose the spring, young players are not getting developed. And he said the veterans love that. Because that means they don't get to take their jobs. That's what BA is saying. Of course, coaches are not. Coaches not going. They're not in agreement with that. So phase 1 of the offseason workout is scheduled to start April 19th, with players allowed to work out at the team facility in small groups. So one issue that could surface if this rule became effective immediately, players that have workout bonuses.
Yeah.
When you have these workout bonuses, you're required to hit a certain amount of workouts to be able to get that said bonus. So how will they change the structure of that in the contract? But that's what JC Tretter and the union, they're trying to urge players to boycott in-person OTAs and minicamps. And if that was to happen, the players won't necessarily be required to go to their facility until summertime, right before, I would say training camp. So that's news coming out of the NFL.
Right. And I think if we are able to go back, because like you said, some guys do have those, workout bonuses. But the first, like you said, you've been in the league 7 years. You know how the workout goes. Mm-hmm. The first 3 weeks, you're not doing anything anyway.
Yeah.
For guys, I
control depending on who it is.
Yeah, I don't know if it's more of us trying to make sure guys are doing what they need to do. But at the end of the day, they're pros. You can't hold everybody's hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? you just can't. I mean,
definitely for the young guys, they need it.
Right. You did everything that you needed to do to get to this point. So why let that fade away? And at the end of the day, if that fade away, like the league do anyway, they move on.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Well, we got to monitor this story, especially with guys that are currently still in the NFL, because it's going to change the game up for a lot of people. So we're going to monitor this story and see exactly what happens in the near future. In other news, not football related, but golf related. Last weekend, it was a big event in Augusta, the Masters. Mm-hmm. The Masters took place. Hideki Matsuyama wins the Masters. Takeaway from Augusta. Number one, how surprised were you seeing Hideki win the Masters? And you predicted Dustin Johnson, DJ, to win. Yep. Dustin and Brooks they missed the cut. So what were your thoughts coming from the Masters?
I wasn't surprised to see Hideki win. Hideki has always been a solid player. Seen him, play over the last 3 years. Just a very smooth, compact swing. Just very in control of his golf game, and to see what he was able to do around the golf course at Augusta, was remarkable because the course played so hard and the greens were so firm, and he just made it look like it was just a pitch and chip contest. Minus I think it was 16 that he took the bogey on. Maybe it was 15. I can't remember. It was on the back nine though. I can't remember the exact hole. But he kind of misjudged a little bit and ended up taking the bogey on that hole. But for the most part, he was in control of that whole tournament. So I was not surprised at all that he won it, because he won before. He did it in this fashion that he won here in Augusta, because I believe it was 2019 or 20. Maybe it was 19. Eric had the don't quote me on that, but when he won the Waste Management, I had an opportunity to watch him play out here in Phoenix and see him, strike the ball around the course and pretty much play mistake-free golf. And he pretty much did the same thing there at Augusta. It was unbelievable to watch, and congratulations to Japan for having the first Japan-born Augusta national champion.
Yeah, first Japanese male to win a major championship.
Right, and this is not a joke. And I know, Sergio made a joke of this a couple of years ago with Tiger, saying the fried chicken. But it's going to be interesting to see what Hideki choose for his first dinner when he goes back to Augusta as the returning champion. So I can't wait to see that menu. With Hideki, because for me,
what would be your first? Yeah, what would be your first?
No, you saying if I was Hideki or if it was me choosing?
If it was you, it's you.
Oh, if it was me, man, Mac, I need me some Salisbury steak, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, green. Yeah, I need cornbread. Hey, matter of fact, to top it all off, man, I need me some fried okra too, man.
You said some Salisbury steak. Well, you went back old school, did you?
Yes, sir.
Hey, that Salisbury steak used to come through in the clutch.
Hey, man, rest in peace to my late grandma, Margaret Peterson. She used to come through with that Salisbury steak.
I already know you with that fried okra. You already know where you got that from.
You already know.
That's straight South Carolina right there.
And another side note with my grandma, man. I never forget, man. I used to love these gizzards growing up, right?
Them gizzards.
Yeah, and my grandpa used to eat gizzards too. But as my grandpa got older, he started losing his teeth. Mm-hmm. So my grandma, to make it act like he was still eating gizzards, she fried. I can't remember what liver it was. I think maybe it was
chicken liver.
Mac, I came into the house right fresh out of Ely. I think I'm in the my sophomore year in high school. I'm like, oh man, grandma done cooked some fresh gizzards. They hot.
It's actually liver.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
fresh gizzards, and you know, gizzards are a little tough. You gotta chew them.
It's harder. Yeah, you fried gizzards. It's tough.
You going straight through that thing.
No question.
Man.
That's the thing I like about the liver. It's easier.
Man, I ain't like that, Mac.
But them chicken gizzard, you gotta be chewing. You know,
Mac,
if you don't chew good enough, you swallow it, man. You might feel like it got stuck.
Hey, Mac, I done adjust my thing up all nice, man. I have ketchup, my hot sauce,
yes,
mustard.
Sir.
I'm all set.
You put mustard on your gizzard?
Yeah, man.
I do ketchup.
I like that tang, man. So I put a little mustard, just a little bit. Man, I bit into that thing. I almost bit my tongue because you know I'm
expecting the toughness.
Yeah, I'm preparing myself for the gizzards because, like you said, it's tougher.
Yeah.
Man, I went straight through that dang on liver, man. I said, Margaret, what is this?
Hey, and Aunt Margaret used to give you whatever you want, boy. She had you, she had you spoiled. Whatever you wanted, to eat, whatever.
That's the top off the story. You know what she did? Because you know, Omar, the corner store used to sell the gizzard.
Mm-hmm.
She went got some. I'm sorry, baby. I got $1.25 for you right here to get you a medium gizzard.
No question. Hey, no question, man. Good times, man. You know, Aunt Marcus and Uncle B used to have the storehouse.
Man, they had it all for us, man.
That storehouse. Listen, they had the storehouse.
We was never hungry at 7-Eleven, man.
No question. I had everything. The chips, the hot sausage, the salt and vinegar tater chips.
They had it all. Lily Dillies. I had it all, man.
Yes, sir. Good times. Some sad news we'd like to mention real quick. The legendary, iconic entertainer, actor, DMX passed away this past weekend at the age of 50. DMX was very, very influential, not just in the rap game, but the sporting world as well. I listened to a lot of DMX songs when I was a youngster, getting ready for football games, playing little league football, playing high school football. Mostly playing high school football. I'm sorry. But DMX, man, he impacted a lot of people. When you think about DMX, Pat P, I think, you know, there's so many things you can highlight. So smart, you know what I mean? So talented. But DMX had a way with words. And I think, me personally, one of my favorite songs with DMX, his Dark, Hell is Hot album, that 1-2, that intro. I mean, when you hear that intro, doom doom, doom 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 doom, like you play that in any arena, any stadium, or if you in the locker room getting ready to put that tape on your wrist, you know, be putting that eye black under your eye, you know, putting your shoulder pads on. When you hear that, that takes you to a whole nother place. Like right now, whoever's watching us or listening to us, go listen to that 1-2 while you clean the house. I bet you clean the house a little different. Yeah. You got a little edge. Go listen to that 1-2 when you're on the treadmill or you're taking a lap or running around the neighborhood. You got a little edge. But that 1-2 for me, man, Pat P, man, I hear that right now, man. Just the intro. It's like it's time to go to war. I mean, I don't know, not necessarily saying war, but whatever it is you got to go do, that gives you a little added boost. Most definitely. So, you know, our condolences to DMX, his family, and anybody associated with him, Rough Riders, Swiss Beats. One thing I can say, the verses, and we talked about the verses before in our show with Master P, with Fabulous, you know, the entertainers that we had, and they were all saying how big and how monumental that experience has been. And one of the more recent verses that we saw some months ago involved DMX and Snoop Dogg.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So that definitely was a huge. You know, Pat P, is there any song that you can think of when you think about DMX that kind of hit home for you?
I mean, DMX is. I mean, he's just a legend. I mean, I like that song with him and what is it? The Money, Power, Respect.
Mm-hmm. Locks.
Locks. He was in that joint. What's My Name?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's just a banger that just get that blood hot. You know what I mean?
What do you really want from
it? Yeah. I mean, X got so many anthems though. You know what I mean? It was just monumental just to, you know what I mean, just hear those songs, like you said, when you while you getting your finger wrapped up, you just kind of feel the energy, the passion, what that they're putting into that song, and it's kind of feeding through you as well.
No question.
So it was like, man, it was definitely like when you heard a DMX song, get ready for a game, you was definitely ready to run through a wall. Slipping was another classic.
Slipping, falling, can't get up. Yeah.
I mean, he got a bunch of hits that, definitely in my younger days, like my first 2 years in the league, especially in college.
Yeah.
I used to listen to a ton of DMX because in college, I don't know what it was in college. You just felt different. It was a different type of hype in college. Like the adrenaline was just different in college. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was because of the real tradition behind the institutions that we went to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what or we're trying to get to where we end up accomplishing our goals. I don't know what it was, but just in college, just the atmosphere, the intensity level was just totally different. So when you heard one of those DMX songs, Mystical, all those artists in that time that had some real stuff that we can relate to, it was like you felt that, you know what I mean? So it was definitely a joy to be able to grow up and listen to DMX for sure.
No question. His music will live forever. Condolences to DMX's family, anyone who's associated with him.
Right.
Now, the tease is over. It's time to get to it. Has Pat heard? Boy, I think we got him right now.
I'm going undefeated, baby.
Hey, has Pat heard? So for the new listeners and new viewers tuning in for the very, very first time, number one, we thank you for giving us an opportunity to fulfill your eyes and fulfill your ears. But this section of our show, we decided to implement because during the offseason, Pat moves around a lot. And when he's moving around playing golf, he's not really listening to what's going on in the sporting world. So we want to kind of test this gangster, to say the least. Right now, his overall record, he's 17 of 26, meaning out of 26 questions, he's gotten 17 right. He only got one wrong last week. He was 3 of 4 last week. Let's see if Pat P can get them all right. I think we got 3 questions for you. Number one, have you heard Julian Edelman retired?
Actually,
is it a yes or no?
I did not hear that, but I saw something on Adam Scheffler. I was rolling up on my Instagram, and I saw a picture of Julian Edelman, as his post, but I didn't read it. So I kind of saw it.
You kind of saw it. All right, I don't know. We got to go to the committee to see what the committee says.
So I didn't. Like I said, I didn't read the captures, but I did see the post that Adam post. But I did he officially retire though?
He officially retired. And I know the first thing I thought about was it's a Tampa Bay move. He might, because he failed a physical, and that was, I guess,
he messed up his knee, right?
His knee or something, yeah. But I'm thinking, man, Tom trying to get him down in that good weather, because in hot weather, your ligaments and they warm up quicker.
The thing is, though, he gonna have to stay retired this whole year.
That's the thing. I think he's done. But if he is done, is Julian Edelman a Hall of Famer?
No,
exactly. No. Hall of very good. He's a good player, expectations. Solid player. Solid player, but not Hall of Famer. I understand when you look at his numbers, especially in the postseason. I think he has the second most career postseason catches behind Jerry Rice, but he played with the Patriots. They played in a lot of playoff games, and he was definitely influential in those playoff games. But you can't name any time in his prime years where you would say Julian Edelman was at least in the top 5 receivers discussion. Yeah. As an individual, no. Plus he won a Super Bowl MVP as well, but Hall of very good. I agree with you. Not a Hall
he's
of Fame.
He's definitely one of the guys that I would want on my team for sure.
No
tough
question.
Nails,
gonna
catch everything. The crazy thing about Julian too is, he has very acceptable speed. He obviously his 40 time won't say that, but he can get behind people. He can get behind people and run away from them as well. And that's the difference between, a ball player and a guy that's just good on paper.
Yep. Okay, so we got to go to the committee about that one, because he kind of gave us. I kind of saw it, but I didn't really hear it. So we got to see what the committee says.
I did not hear it. It is has Pat heard, so I did not hear that.
Okay.
So
you waving a white flag.
Technically, I got it wrong.
All right, second question for you. Aaron Rodgers guest hosted Jeopardy last week.
Man, I did see that, and Aaron did an awesome job.
And he's doing it again this week as well. Might be setting up another opportunity. He's doing it again.
He might need to keep it because the crazy thing about it, when I saw the NFL posted when he was on there, I think it said 2012, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
He was crushing it.
No
and
question.
Seeing the hearing the background behind it of him, like, wanting to have this job one day. So, as you know, being a great NFL player, if there's something that you set your mind on, you want to be great at that too. So
yeah,
it was only, hearing that story and seeing it come into fruition, it was only right that, Aaron was going to be the best host that he can be on Jeopardy. And I thought he crushed it. I
agree with you.
I thought he did a great job of, communicating with the competitors, did a great job of interacting with the camera. Mm-hmm. I mean, I thought it all overall, it was awesome. So I definitely won't be surprised if Jeopardy host is in Aaron's future.
No question. I'm right there with you. So you got that one. The final question has Pat heard?
Talk to me.
I think we got him. Eric, I think we got him.
You got me.
Eddie George hired as Tennessee State head coach. Oh, you heard that one.
Saw it this morning.
You heard that one. I mean, Eddie George, as far as I know, no significant coaching experience. What are your thoughts about, the thoughts of the trend with former players with limited coaching experience getting head coaching job? How do you feel about that?
I think it's big, man, because we've been in this game for a very long time. Nothing against the coaches that didn't play in this game. Nothing against them at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like we can't relate to them as players. They're just going by off what they read or what somebody else taught them. They haven't really been through the experience. And I just think hiring former coaches or former players as head coaches is great for any institution, because now you have a prominent player that's Eddie's in the Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. I believe he was no, I don't think he got 2,000 rushing yards in the league, but he was.
But he was definitely a big time player.
He had a couple big time rushing season, but a guy who
won the Heisman.
Yeah, won the Heisman in Ohio State.
Yeah.
So the guy who had such a promising, career as a ball player, you want to have those type of guys around the kids that's trying to get to the next level.
No question.
Especially with the kids in the HBCUs.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge for the HBCU programs, with the light that they've been receiving, now continue to brighten that light with Prime, doing what he's doing at Jackson State. Now you got Eddie George. And I think Eddie is trying to bring in Hugh Jackson to kind of be the OC.
Really?
I said try to bring in Ray Lewis. He has Jeff Fisher like on the advisory committee. You know what I mean? Okay. So they're doing some good things. And Dominique Rodgers Cromartie was on the staff, the previous staff. So hopefully they keep him on staff as well, which would be who would be another former player. So I have no issue with it. I think when you look at the HBCU programs and what they've been doing this season, having their season during the offseason, they've been getting a lot of attention, and it's good. We've highlighted quite a few HBCU individuals and then universities as well. So I'm all for it. I'm right there with you, Pat Pete.
Matt, and go back to that hiring. You obviously know you see a lot of guys like Steve Nash, for an example, getting a lot of flack of being a first-time head coach, didn't deserve the position, this, that, and the other. But you think about it. This guy had a promising career. So therefore, he knows how to be a pro. He knows the proper steps to take to be successful. So why not have a guy like that in charge that been through the ranks, that been through what the players that he's coaching trying to go through? Why not have him coach him versus a guy that's been pretty much a Pop Warner coach, pretty much raised up in the ranks and got the head coaching job or the top job or whatever, but really never had no real experience with.
I agree.
Playing the game. You know what I mean? So I like former players getting these gigs, because what it's going to do is it's going to make it better it's going to make it less of an excuse of NFL hiring Black and African American coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So I love it.
Let's go. Take advantage of the opportunity. Let's see exactly what happens with Tennessee State and newly hired head coach Eddie George. Now, it's time for 21 questions. We're almost at halftime, but before we get to halftime, you guys know we got to go show some love to our fans, our faithful supporters. 21 questions is where we get a chance to interact with you, the fan, the listeners, and the viewers. If you want to have your question answered on the show in the future, leave us a question. Leave a question attached to a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, and we may get it to the show. We may get it on the show. This question comes from Dave Richard. What's up, Dave? Fantasy expert, by the way. Shout out to CBS Sports HQ. Dave says, hi, guys. Love the pod, by the way. Let's say a college cornerback sticks to one spot in college. What do you look for on film to know if he can handle playing other spots like nickel at the next level? So basically, Dave is asking, if you see a cornerback that's only playing the outside corner, never really being involved inside the dime of the nickel, what are you looking for in his game to see if he can handle that transition on the next level, which is the NFL?
Me personally, I'm looking at how he moves. Because obviously being a slot guy, that's the most agile position on the field.
Yep.
So I want to see how he moves. I want to see his line. I want to see what his footwork look like. And the most important part to me is he able to locate the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If he's able to locate the ball, have good feet work, and being able to be, a guy, he don't have to be a smaller guy. I just need him to be agile. I want to see the way he moves against sudden changes. That's the couple main points for me. And also you got to be able to tackle being inside because, when they run the ball, you're kind of like a linebacker. So you got to be able to bring the thump and be able to get runners on the ground. Those to me are the main 4 things I'm looking for. You really don't need speed because at the end of the day, the nickel position is the safest position on the field as well. You have linebackers that's able to help. You got a corner that's able to help you if he's in the zone thirds. You got a safety over top of you. So if he's able to move well and also able to think, because at the corner position you gotta run with. At the nickel position you got to be able to run a lot. You got to be able to run with motion. So change of strength may change. So your assignment may change. So you have to be able to think on the fly. So those are 5 things. I said 4 earlier, but those are 5 things that I'm looking for out of a corner in college. If I'm looking for, to put him in another position, if he's solely an outside guy, if I'm looking to transition him into the inside.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Lateral movement is imperative for anybody who's playing the nickel. Yeah. Your lateral movement got to be on point. If you're a big guy or a little guy, your lateral movement got to be on point. And the nickel is the one position when you're talking about being a cover guy where it's okay to be more quick than fast. Because you change the direction. Sometimes when you're playing the outside corner, your leverage can help you in coverage standpoint. What I mean? They have an extremely wide split. You line up inside
4-3 routes.
Yeah. You can kind of start taking away certain routes. When you play that nickel, they got a two-way go on you. They got a two-way go, and sometimes they hit you with that option route where they're gonna just run a route based on your leverage. You got to be able to adjust on the fly. Yep. So quickness, lateral movement, tackling, and also too just the cerebral part, how fast you pick up on certain things are things that we will look for if we only saw you do one thing on the collegiate level. Shout out to Dave Richard, man. Thank you for the question. Big time question. Like I said, if anybody would like to have their question show up on our show, just leave us a 5-star review attached to your question and we'll try to get it on the show.